They say John Wick died twice. The first time, he chose it, walked away from the blood and the bullets, traded his guns for a ring, his reputation for a life worth living. The second time, the world chose for him. But there was a third death, one that happened in silence, in shadow, the death of the man who thought he could finally be free. This is that story. 5 years after the war, 5 years after the marquee fell, and the body count finally stopped climbing. John wasn't dead. He'd disappeared. Really disappeared this time. Alaska, a cabin 30 miles from nowhere. No phone. No connection to the world he left bleeding behind him. Just mountains, forests older than empires, and silence. He split wood every morning. Read books by firelight. Watch the northern lights dance like souls trying to find their way home. And every night, he sat by the fire with a worn photograph. Helen, her smile, her eyes, the life they'd built, the life he'd burned. I tried, he whispered to flames. God knows I tried to stay dead. The fire never answered. It came on a Tuesday. John was splitting logs when he heard it. Helicopter blades cutting through the mountain silence. He didn't run, just stood there, axe in hand, watching as the black helicopter descended. Winston stepped out, older, grayer. Behind him, the adjudicator. John didn't move. Hello, Jonathan. You shouldn't be here. I didn't have a choice. The high table needs you. John's laugh was hollow. The high table can burn. It is burning, Jonathan. That's exactly why we're here. Inside, Winston poured bourbon. Someone's killing the families. One by one. 7 out of 12 dead in 3 months. We sent 14 assassins. All dead. 23 enforcers. Dead. An entire brigade, 40 soldiers. Dead. Send someone else. We found something at each scene. Winston placed a photograph on the table. John looked down. His blood turned to ice. A symbol carved in flesh, burned into walls, painted in blood. A coin, his marker, the symbol of the Baba Yaga. Someone's killing in your name, Winston said quietly. The families think you're behind it. They've put out a contract. 50 million. Open. Every assassin in the world is coming for you. John closed his eyes. Of course. But there's more. Winston pulled out another photograph. A young woman, dark hair, cold eyes that looked familiar. Who is she? Winston's voice was heavy. Her name is Kira. According to our intelligence, she's your daughter. That's impossible. I never. Before Helen. Moscow. 12 years ago. Ruska Roma. There was a woman, Katia Volkov. John remembered. Barely. A face lost in the fog of a life spent forgetting. She never told you, Winston continued. Raised the girl in secret. Trained her in the old ways. Made her into what you used to be. When Katia died 3 years ago, she told Kira everything. Who her father was. How he'd abandoned her. I didn't know. Doesn't matter to her. She blames you for leaving, for becoming a legend while she lived in shadows. So she's tearing down everything you protected, killing the table, framing you, forcing you out. John stared at the photograph, at eyes that were his eyes. She wants me to find her. Yes. She wants to kill me herself. Yes. Silence. Long and heavy. Then I'll give her what she wants. Winston stood. Jonathan, this is a negotiation. John walked to the corner, pulled up a floorboard, began removing weapons. She's my daughter, my blood, my sin. If she needs to kill me to find peace, then so be it. The hunt began in Vienna. The Rossi family had fortified their estate. 24 guards. Overlapping fields of fire. They thought they were safe. John arrived at dawn. The estate was silent. Too silent. The guards were dead. All of them. Efficient. Professional. Inside was worse. The entire family executed. Lined up and shot. And on the wall in blood. The coin. But there was something else. Scratched into the marble floor. Are you proud, Father? John stood in the carnage, reading those words over and over. And for the first time in 5 years, he felt something other than emptiness, rage. "I'm coming," he whispered. "I'm coming, Kira." He tracked her across Europe. Prague, the Du Bois family, dead. Message: "Did you even ask about me?" Berlin, the Heinrich syndicate, dead. Message: "Was she worth more than I was?" Istanbul, the Osman family, dead. Message: "Did you think about what you left behind?" Each scene was a mirror. Each kill was a question. Each message was a wound. She wasn't just killing. She was making a point. Every family she hit had hired John Wick, used his skills, benefited from his legend. She was erasing his legacy, one blood-soaked chapter at a time. And she was good. She moved like him, thought like him, killed like him, because she was him. The version that never found love, never found a reason to stop. The version that stayed a weapon. The trail led to Paris. She killed a Moreau family and left a message. The place where you became human. Meet me where you died the first time. Dawn. John knew exactly what she meant. The church, where he'd dueled the Marquis, where he'd won his freedom, where he'd collapsed, believing it was finally over. Dawn broke over Paris like a wound opening. John walked up the church steps slowly. No weapons visible, just a man climbing toward judgment. Inside, sunlight streamed through stained glass, painting the floor in fractured colors. "Hello, Kira." She stepped from the shadows. Tall, lean, beautiful in the way sharp things are beautiful. And her eyes, his eyes, stared back at him. "Father." The word was venom. "I didn't know about you." "Would it have mattered?" She descended the steps. "Would you have come back? Or would you have done what you always do, chosen violence over everything else?" "I chose to leave. I chose peace." "You chose a lie." Her voice cracked. "You became the Baba Yaga. Killed thousands. Built a legend so massive it blotted out the sun. And then you just stopped. Found a woman. Found love. Found a life. While I grew up in blood. In darkness. Trained to kill before I could read. Living in your shadow. Knowing that the man everyone feared was my father. And he didn't even know I existed. That wasn't my choice. Everything is a choice." She pulled a gun and aimed it at his chest. "You chose to leave. Chose to love Helen. Chose to come back for a dog. Chose to fight. Chose to die. You chose. And you never once chose me." John took a step forward. "You're right." She hesitated. "You're right about all of it. I made choices. Most terrible. And I can't undo them. Can't give you the father you deserved. Another step, but I can give you the truth. The life I lived, the one you inherited. It's not freedom. It's a cage. And the longer you stay in it, the smaller it gets, until you forget what it means to be anything else. Like you forgot? I never forgot. That's why I left. Someone showed me there was more, that I could be more than the monster." His voice softened. "Your mother gave you life, but she also gave you this curse. And I'm sorry, more sorry than words can say." Kira's hand trembled. "I don't want your apology. I know. You want revenge. You want me to hurt the way you've hurt." John spread his arms. "So do it. Pull the trigger. I won't fight back. If my death give you peace, then take it." She aimed at his heart, tears streaming. "Do it," John whispered. The gun shook. "I hate you," she sobbed. "I know. I hate you so much. I know." The gun dropped, clattered on stone. Kira collapsed, sobbing like the child she'd never been allowed to be. John moved forward, knelt beside her, and for the first time in her life, someone held her while she cried. "I'm sorry," he whispered. "I'm so sorry." 3 days. They talked in a safe house Winston provided. John told her about Helen, about the dog, about trying to find peace and failing. Kira told him about Katia, about training until her hands bled, about watching other girls have fathers while she had nothing but a name that felt like a curse. On the 3rd day in a Paris cafe, "What happens now?" Kira asked. "The table wants you dead. You run. Disappear. I'll handle them." "You can't fight them alone." I've done it before. He smiled rare brief. Besides, I've been dead before. I'm good at it. She laughed despite herself. You're insane. He pulled out an envelope. Money. Papers. New identity. Enough to disappear for a lifetime. Go somewhere quiet. Find something to love. Even if it's small. A plant. A book. A dog. Find one thing that makes you feel human. Hold on to it. What about you? I'm gonna end this. One way or another. Will I see you again? John looked at her, memorizing the face he'd never known existed. I hope so, but hope's dangerous in our line of work. He stood to leave. Dad. He stopped. The word hung in the air like a prayer. Thank you. John nodded. Couldn't speak. Just walked away. The high table convened in Rome. All 7 remaining families. The adjudicator, Winston, and John Wick, standing in the center. You broke the rules, the harbinger said. The penalty is death. I know, but I'm offering a deal. John looked at each of them. Kira's gone. You'll never find her, but you still have a problem. The chaos she created. The wars. I'll fix it. Rebuild what she tore down. Restore the balance. I'll be what I was before. Your weapon. Your ghost. One last time. In exchange for? My daughter goes free. No contract. No pursuit. She gets to live the life I never could. The families conferred. Whispered. Argued. Finally, the adjudicator spoke. Agreed, but you serve until death. Natural or otherwise. No retirement. No escape. No Helen to save you this time. John was quiet for a long time, thinking about Alaska, about peace he'd almost found, thinking about Kira, about giving her what he'd never had. Finally, he nodded. Done. Then it's decided. John Wick is reinstated. John turned to leave. Jonathan, Winston called. Was it worth it? John looked back, and for just a moment, the ghost smiled. Ask me when I'm dead. Again. 6 months later. New Zealand. A small coastal town where the ocean sang, and skies stretched forever. Kira sat on her porch, watching the sunset. A rescue dog, name tag reading Ghost, dozed at her feet. In her hands, a book she was actually reading. Her phone buzzed. Unknown number. Hope is dangerous, but sometimes it's worth it. Be safe. Jay. She smiled through tears. Type. You too, old man. Don't die on me. Message failed to deliver, because John Wick was already gone. Already moving through shadows. Already hunting. The Baba Yaga was back, but this time, he wasn't running for his demons. He was making peace with them, one bullet at a time, until there were no deaths left, or until the only death left was his own, because he'd given his daughter what he'd never had. A choice, a chance, a life, and that was worth dying for. Again, they say the high table is eternal, but so is the man who walks in its shadow. The ghost, the legend, the father who gave everything so his daughter could have nothing to do with this world. John Wick died 3 times, and rose each time stronger, because that's what monsters do. They survive, even when they shouldn't, especially when they shouldn't. And somewhere between legend and truth, between ghost and man, between father and killer, John Wick keeps walking, because that's all he knows. Walk, fight, bleed, survive, for her, always for her. Sometimes the only way to save someone is to become the monster you've been running from.